Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're welcome. So today's tutorial is a Crease tutorial. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you like this video. Using the Beauty foundation, I already did my skin prep and my brows off camera, so I'm just applying the foundation to my skin. Blending is key, so that's exactly what I'm doing. This Beauty foundation is full coverage, so I use a very little amount. Little amount goes a long way. And when you're applying the foundation on your forehead, you don't need too much products. You just need to use the remains on your beauty blender. So I'm just trying as much as possible for the foundation to cover every part of my face. So to conceal my nose and my face, I'm using this dark shade of concealer from the Beauty palette. I'm applying it on my cheekbones and my temple. When you're contouring with a liquid contour, you need to apply it in an upward motion because I want to lift the face. So I somehow have a large forehead, so I'm trying to extend the contour on my forehead to make it smaller. So I did the same thing on my nose to narrow my nose. My nose is not that big though, but I want to snatch the nose. That's the essence of makeup, to make everything look, to enhance everything basically. So using the same beauty sponge I used for my foundation, I'm using to blend in the contour on my nose into my skin. So now I'm blending the contour of my cheekbones in an upward pattern so it doesn't spread. The essence of contour is to lift the face, so I'm blending into an upward pattern. This contour basically bronzed my skin and I love how it turned out. So for liquid blush, I went into this Beauty lipstick palette and I'm just applying a little above my contour. The essence of this blush is not really to blush my face, it's to intensify the contour. And as usual, I just use the remains of my beauty sponge on my forehead. So to highlight my face, I went in with two shades from the concealer, not very light shades here. I mixed both of them. I'm just applying it under my eye area, the bridge of my nose, my forehead and my chin. And I just blended that out. I tried as much as possible for it not to spread because I already have my contour on and I don't want any highlights on my contour. I noticed the highlights was getting into my nose at this point, so I just took off the excess on the beauty sponge and applied it on my chin and I was good to go. I went into this setting powder from Beauty to set my highlights. When you're setting your highlights, you want everything to look like powder. You apply very little under your eye and spread it so it's even. Don't forget to dust off the excesses from the beauty sponge or else it's going to be very hard when you're blending it out and it could cause creasing. I'm basically just blending the powder under my eye and make sure every part under my eye had a touch of powder. I did the same thing for my chin and my forehead, in fact all over my face. If you have an oily skin, don't sleep on applying setting powder all over your face before the normal powder. It helps a lot in reducing oiliness and even sweat, so it's very easy. As you can see in the video, just apply it and blend it as normal powder. I try as much as possible for the setting powder not to get to my contoured areas because I want my contour to be visible. So to intensify my nose contour, I use a shade of powder, the shade Nutmeg, and the Flawless Ivy powder palette, and I'm just applying them to my nose. And I'm doing the same thing on my cheeks to intensify the contour. I love the contour and this looks so much. Using the same powder palette, I'm applying this powder in the shade Honey all over my face. To bake my face, I'm using the same V Beauty setting powder and I'm just using it to snatch my nose first. Then I apply it under my eyes to catch any eyeshadow fallout. If you have smile lines, don't forget to apply setting powder where you have them. So I'm doing my reverse contour. Your reverse contour should be done below your normal contour. I feel like my reverse contour was too low, but it moved. Then I'm just applying the remains on the beauty sponge on my forehead. And this is how your face should be looking, baked and set. Down to the eyeshadow, so I'm just basing my eyelids with the same concealer I used to highlight my face. This is the same concealer shade I used to conceal my brows. You can use white, any at all, anyone you're comfortable with. So I'm just blending my skin. You can see I'm trying to make it join with the concealer I used on my brow bone too. Blending is skin makeup. Trust me, if you're not patient, if you don't take your time to blend, it's not going to come out the way you want it. So I blended to the remove harsh lines, then I'm good to go. So I went in with this shade of powder from my powder palette again. I guess it's in the shade Ebony or Honey, one of them. So I'm just applying it on the outer corner of my eye. I'm using this as my first transition shade. I'm just applying it on my crease, and you can see I'm trying to connect it with my nose contour because I guess they were the same shades. I didn't want the powder to get to my brow bone, although it was highlighted, but I wanted to do something with it. So I'm just blending till I'm satisfied with the outcome. So I went in with this mustard colored brown shade on my powder palette, and you can see I'm using it to blend out the first transition shade I used, and I'm also trying to let it move upwards to my brow bone because I like this kind of yellow effect on my brow bone on cut creases. So yeah, this is what it's giving at this point. You can see the difference because the effect is so evident. Then I went in with a darker shade and I applied it just below the first one, and I blended both of them. When you're blending different shades or colors like this, you should always interchange your brushes. You can see what I'm doing. I'm going in with the brush I used for the brow bone area because I noticed it was spreading and we don't want that. So yeah, I'm using the darker shade again and blending it all over my eyelids. And I was intentional about applying parts of it on the outer corner of my eyes. So I kept on blending till there were no harsh lines. Trust me, you can even go with this one as a smoky eyeshadow look. For my crease, you need a very flat brush, a very flat, slim, tiny brush. You can go in with a big brush, but make sure it's flat. So I use this white concealer from the same concealer palette. I applied a little on my eyelids and then I looked upwards. Where the concealer stops is where you cut your crease. Yeah. So I started to cut from the inner corner of my eyes, and I'm applying this concealer precisely as though I want to draw a half circle. Yes, try as much as possible for the cut to be clean and straight. You can see I was looking upwards from time to time so that I know if I'm cutting the crease exactly where I'm meant to cut it. At this point, I was just trying to straighten the lines because I wanted it to be so sharp. Yeah, I looked upward at this point and I realized that I still had to cut some parts of it, so I did that again. So I went in with this blending brush and I blended the concealer into my eyelids and also blended the powder with the concealer. I went ahead to apply the dark shade of powder I used last on the outer corner of my eyes. So for my cut crease, I went in with this nude shade. To apply eyeshadow on my cut crease, I'm using this fluffy, somehow flat brush and I'm just tapping it. You need to try as much as possible so the eyeshadow doesn't get over the area you've cut the crease. So now I'm blending these two colors together. I mean the dark shade I used and also the nude shade. So now I'm doing my eyeliner. To do your eyeliner, you need to draw a straight line upwards, then draw another one to join it, and then you just fill the space in between. Then you draw another one from the inner corner of your eyes, and just drawing both of them together, and you're good to go. You need to be careful, especially if you have shaky hands. So I'm smudging my under eye with that same dark shade of powder I used as my transition. Then I went ahead to do my lashes off camera because the light was messing with my eyes. Then I am applying powder all over my face to dust out the reverse contour setting powder. Yeah, so for my lipstick, I decided to go in with a nude lipstick. It's like my go-to lipstick. I do this all the time. First of all, I'm lining my lip with this black pencil. Then I went in with this brown shade of Adventure lipstick and I'm just applying it below the black lip liner. I'm just marking my lips together and I'm going with this blending brush to blend both of them together. Don't forget, blending is key. Yes, even in your lipstick too, blending is key. Use this nude shade from my concealer and the base of my lips and I'm smacking my lips together. I would have left it this way, but you know, with extra here. So all I had to do was smack, and I also went back into this blending brush and I kept on blending. So I went back into the brown lippy I used and I applied it on the top of my lips and I'm blending it again. And this is what we have. Trust me, this is the perfect nude lippy. Very easy and beautiful. I went in with the nude lippy from the V Beauty lipstick palette and I applied it on top of the concealer I used earlier. I used the brush and I blended again and that was it. So now I'm dusting the setting powder under my eyes. And then I used the CPD blush and applied it on my cheeks. I also love using the leftover to apply it on my nose as well. Then I went in my highlight. I applied the highlight on the bridge of my nose, my chin, my cheekbones, and my forehead. You could apply it on your brow bone if you want. So here's the finished look, guys. I'm looking like a snack. Everything is sleek and snatched. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification